Today I'm going to share with you something that is maybe our marketing secret number one. It is a specific process, we call it an SOP, standard operating procedure, of how we create content every week. So we call it the content creation flow because it is the flow that creates content for the people we care about every week and makes it possible that we ship many small chunks of valuable content on a regular basis. And this is important because content creation is not anymore just a fancy thing to give to fancy agencies. It is one of the fundamental jobs of every CEO, of every founder, of every key executive. It's not the job of your marketing department, it's your job. And the second thing is, people who realize this and start with it, they burn out very fast. In the first couple of years, many burn out and stop sharing, stop creating. So let's talk about that. First, why is it important? So if you're in a product business, you might think, why do I need this? Well, first of all, it is not that easy anymore to be seen with your product. And you will need a minimum viable audience to test new features, to test new problems, new solutions, new products, and to find out if your experiments are validating or invalidating your hypothesis. So in order to do that, you need an audience. Second thing is, if you have only a products business, at some point in time you lose contact to what is going on, to what is emerging in the life of your customer, because you're far away. So it is helpful for most entrepreneurs in our accelerators to have a mix of products and services, because it is a ping pong between serving the customer, but also extracting the general principles and extracting what works always and for everybody in that field and making a product out of that. But you need this ping pong to be near enough to the client to know what is really relevant and what they really need. And you need also the distance of the product building team, which is not dictated every week by what the client needs, but has the freedom to experiment in every direction and finding out new solutions to current problems. Because of course, with the same patterns that you were trying to solve the problem, you will not come up with new solution ideas. So you need both. You need the services where you are near to the needs and to the problems and you collect new problems, and you need the product business where you create in a more distant space with a bunch of people who are not in the projects every day, so they have enough time and space and creativity to test new solutions to current problems. And in the service business, you still have the pulse check if these are still the relevant problems or if they are shifting, like life and markets of your clients are shifting. So why would their problems stay the same? And now let's go to the burnout part, because many people create and create and create and give away and are frustrated and give up or think about giving up at a certain point because they feel that the reaction is missing. But many times we have this illusion that we should have 100,000 followers on Instagram in the first 2 years. That's not a realistic expectation if you are bootstrapping. So if you are creating with your own capital and if you are building a long-term game, this shouldn't be your expectation. The expectation should much more be to reach people more every week. So how can you become more genuine, more open, more ready to give more of you in a way that is both helpful to you and your curiosity and your creative voice, but also to somebody there who needs this advice right now, who needs this tool right now, who is trying to solve the same problem right now that you were solving 3 weeks ago. So you have something to give. And if you're ready, give it away. Now, our SOP is something that we came up over years of experimenting, and it is our current state of error. So it changes every couple of months. But currently we have an SOP which says, and I would strongly encourage you to write down this SOP, which starts with your own editorial plan. So who is it for? Write down who is it for. And then make a 5-level segmentation. So if you say it is for entrepreneurs, then do 5 levels of segmentation. So specify 5 times for which niche is it. So for example, it would be entrepreneurs who have also more than 2 kids, who live in Europe, who use Mac only, and who read The Economist, for example. So it's 5-level segmentation, and the avatar will be entrepreneur with these 5 niches. Now you know who you're talking to. And before you write anything, empathize. So think from their perspective. How do they feel right now? How much time do they have today? So if they have 2 kids, it's a limited times. And now, what are they trying to solve? Is it attraction? Is it delivery? Is it retainment? What is it that they're trying to solve right now? Which problems do they encounter right now? And which problems did you encounter on this exact moment? And what did you try? And which tool or process or intervention were really helpful? And what did you learn from that? And from that, what can you share? So this would be the editorial up front. And now that you have your audience in mind, what we do is for 1 year, we do only have 1 or 2 topics, and we decide them in advance. So our creation flow it's a Google sheet, and it starts with the categories. So in the Google sheet, I make sure that I can only pick one of these 2 categories. So currently, in our case, it's get better clients and regain your freedom. These are the only 2 things I am writing about this year. And I can only pick one of these 2 categories. I did eliminate the possibility to write, to give another input. So I couldn't say I write about, I don't know, marketing tools. So I can only write about get better clients or regain your freedom for this week. It's a self-imposed limitation, and that would be the second thing to do. Give yourself a boundary, a limiting condition. So limit the field and try to make it deep instead of broad. So even better if you have 1 topic and you write for 1 year about that topic. I know it's hard to do, and that's where social media comes in. Test a couple of topics and see what your audience resonates with, and then pick the top one and the top two. And this is important for many reasons. One reason is you focus so you can go deeper in your expertise, and if you focus and go deep, then you can become an expert. You can become a leader in that topic. You can become number one if you focus for a couple of years on that topic. Second thing is, when you focus, something magic happens that Goethe and also other poets have described. When you take this decision to commit to one thing, you filter basically which parts of everyday life you are going to see. So you change what you see. You know that if you are thinking about buying a red car, then you see on the street, you see lots of red cars. And if you are having your first child right now, if let's say your first child is 2 weeks old, now when you walk down the street, you see many more babies, because you filter your attention through this filter. So what you are doing when you do that, in this case I do it in Google Sheet, but when you limit yourself to one or two topics, something magic happens, that you filter life around you according to that. So when you read the New York Times, you will spot one or two things that match this category, and you will give less attention to other categories. This is very helpful if you're a content creator, because you have to limit your input anyway per day, because you should have a small chunk of creation every day so that you can ship every week. So in order to do that, you have to limit your inputs anyway, and to create space for creation, so to do output. And it makes life much easier if you have only one or two topics. So first thing is category. I call it category, and every time I create something, I have to click one of these two categories, and I'm not allowed to create the third one. And then this is something specific for me. You have to find out what is the easiest thing to start with. Are you a writer or are you a speaker? So are you a reader or are you a listener? What is easier for you to start with? To me, it's easier to start talking, because when I talk, I see my thoughts. I see the patterns of my thoughts and of my insights. So I start with something that is a Facebook Live or an Instagram Live, and I just start sharing something that I learned that day, and that can be helpful to others. So the first thing, I call it Live Facebook, Live Instagram, and then I click to do or done. And then there comes the third column, which is content. Now I write the working title of that content. And I make it green if it's done, so that my team knows I did it. And if not, it's yellow. Next thing is I do a video about it. And I have a very easy way of doing videos, which is this way of recording a screencast. Then I go. Now, every step from now on is done by my team. So it's the same category, and now I do mine in green, and they know, okay, now they can start with their work, which is the next thing is to publish this video on YouTube. So they will have to refine it and to edit it and to create the thumbnail, and then it goes on YouTube. Before it goes on YouTube, they think about searchability and keywords. They pick the keywords from our list of keywords, which we analyze every week, and then it goes to YouTube. The next thing is extract the audio from the YouTube channel, The Strategy Show, and put it on our audio channel, the podcast, The Strategy Show, on Google Play, on iTunes, on SoundCloud, on Stitcher, etc. So the audio gets reused. Then I also reuse it as a unit of a course. So I will limit myself to create a couple of online courses per year. I will put them again here as a category, and then I can add this content if it fits to one of the online courses. Next decision is if it's an evergreen content, which means if it's also helpful 3 years later or 10 years later, I will put it into our algorithm, which reuses evergreen content in the social medias in 6 months, in 8 months, in 9 months. This is very important. If you think, yes, but I'm going to bore my audience, well, in 9 months, 1/3 of your audience will be new people. And for them, it will be helpful and fresh. The same thing we do with our email service. We stopped sending newsletters. We have now email services, which are, again, only made of useful content that can solve problem or inspire a solution. And if this content is evergreen and helpful, we would put it into the evergreen funnel, which is, it comes also to our evergreen email service. And it might qualify for the current email service. So the next thing is somebody puts it into the current email service. The next thing is we reuse it again in our communities. So we have a forum, which is a 24/7 advisory boards for our alumni. And there are entrepreneurs there currently, I think 2,000. And they get this content also again dispatched. If we have other communities, like currently we have a Facebook group called Entrepreneurial Freedom, it will also get reused there. And the next reuse is we will analyze which ones are the most helpful in terms of interactions and likes, and these ones will become also an article on our website, which means we will have a further research phase and deep dive into that topic and make it even more helpful, and also think about the different contexts people are in and how we can personalize that. And then it becomes an article on our website, strategysprints.com/articles. If this article is helpful and if the readers like it and comment, then it becomes also an article on LinkedIn and an article on Medium. And for every article that goes there, we think of one CTA, so one call to action. So if we gave away 9 chunks of knowledge and of motivation, what can be number 10, which is what can be an invitation to join something more from us, like joining the email service or taking one of our challenges, like the Freedom Sprint Challenge, or inviting them to become an alumni to join our 24/7 advisory space or come to a mastermind. So that's the whole process, and it is documented in a very transparent way. What is done is green and the rest is yellow, so everybody knows if I have created something, it's green, and then everybody knows who is doing what in our team. It's 5 people currently, and everybody of us knows when he has to do something. And every Friday we will discuss, learn from it, see what really helped and what was the resonance from our audience, and we will build on whatever worked. So if we see that one topic was especially helpful and well taken, we will do more about that. And if topics are not so well received, we will just not continue diving deep into that. So that's also how we learn about our audience and what they find currently relevant and important. Hope this was helpful, and see you next week.
Hi, entrepreneurs! No matter if you are going from 0 to 1 or from 1 to 10, you are not alone. Our community of over 16,000 entrepreneurs has done remarkable stuff in the last few years. We've seen single parents start their business and grow it to 7 figures. We've even seen couples succeed as entrepreneurs together in life and work. Now, we've created workshops that can propel you to freedom and growth without needing to fly away from family and friends. Our new workshops work from anywhere, anytime, on any device. Let us help you be found when you are needed the most by the clients you truly want to work with. Check strategysprints.com to build up your business and have fun doing it. Want to join a group of like-minded entrepreneurs and share inspiration and ideas? Check out our Facebook group, Entrepreneurial Freedom, for exclusive content and connections.